friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a throwback video. This is a video series that I started on my channel years ago, and it is the Would You Rather series. If you are anything like me, the first thing you do when you sit down in the morning at your beauty space is go, oh my gosh, I just got this new thing from Boxycharm. Oh, I got this from the drugstore. Oh, I forgot about this, was in my favorites. Or Nichole talked about it, or Tati talked about it, or someone else talked about it, and I have it in my collection. I want to use that. So today, we're gonna jump into a telltale old battle of the morning routine of which products am I rathering right now. Keep in mind, none of this is getting decluttered. All of this makeup is fantastic, and I love it, but what am I reaching for currently? What is the thing that is just making me go, ooh, out of this, and this, I really want to use that. Let's jump into this right now. And yes, you are correct. Your eyes are not deceiving you. I did go get my hair colored. I had mentioned a couple of weeks back that I was going to get my hair colored, and so many of you guys on Instagram let me know that you were really wanting me to go dark, because I kind of had two options going. I was going to do like a caramel with some purple maybe, or go back to being dark. I've been dark quite a few times, and this is the first time I think on my channel though that you guys are seeing me this dark. I have an amazing hairstylist and she was game, so we decided to go dark this year, but I think maybe next year, maybe in 2020, maybe in the spring, I might be doing that caramel with some purple to it. I have done an indigo in my hair years ago when I first started my channel, so if you need any tips on how to keep the purple in your hair, I do have a video on that. Shameless plug, not sorry. But let's jump back into some makeup and get into what am I rathering right now. One of the hardest categories for me right now is all of the face palettes I keep getting from my subscription boxes. So I want to give everything its own amount of time. I want to give everything its own moment, but once I've done a video or once I've done a review on them, I still use these babies. But what am I reaching for currently? It kind of depends. As you guys know, if you've been with me for a while, at the end of the year, I love going through all of my makeup and letting you know what was the best, what was the worst. I happen to be the first YouTuber to have ever done the best and worst of Boxycharm, so I take those videos crazy seriously. I love them. They're some of my favorites. So I really want to know, what am I rathering right now? Is it going to change? What did I love about something in the past? Let's talk about face palettes. The first category is a category that keeps stumping me first thing in the morning after I have on the base face. Where do I go from here? Because we've gotten a ton of face palettes this year, and I just keep stopping and going, wait, which one should I use? Which one should I use versus which one do I want to use? Oof, that's the question. I like to keep myself up to date and remind myself, how do I feel about all of my makeup? And a lot of this in front of me today is Boxycharm. It wasn't even like planned that way. It's just these are the top of mind things for me at the moment. And since that video, year end, best and worst, is gonna be around the corner any minute, I need to keep reviewing these things and letting you know what I'm thinking. The older palettes that I have here are the CoverFX palette and the Tarte Pro Glow, and then more recently I've gotten the Clay Play palette that I have talked about. So I need to remind myself sometimes to go backwards and try other things. So the CoverFX palette I did get in the correct shade, because I know that was kind of the big deal with this one, was that people were getting either too dark or too light compared to their quiz. Mine was accurate, and it is the light to medium palette here. And I really liked when I got this because it's a face palette. You have everything in one, super easy for travel. And then I got this baby, the Tarte Pro Glow. Now I understand this is kind of a personal situation at the moment because not everybody got these two. I understand that. This one though came to me at a time that I really needed it. It was right after surgery, and this had everything in one, and it made me excited to play with it because I was just in recovery, and this actually made me want to swatch and try things on even when I was exhausted. So I feel like I already had like a mental note that I was enjoying this more than this based off of just personal moment in time when I got it. But as now I've had these longer to compare, what am I reaching for? If you follow me on Instagram, I do try to keep you guys updated on what's going on behind the scenes. And recently I was in Orlando overnight. I was doing my husband was doing a business trip, so I just kind of went down there with him, and I brought this palette with me because it has eyeshadows, contours / bronzers, and a beautiful mirror to be able to do said makeup in a hotel. You know, super handy. This, not as handy because of the placement of the mirrors, less useful. And this product, I feel like out of these three for me has kind of gotten to the third ranking. And the main reason I say that is because even though I feel like this has more product because it has a contour that can be built up that's kind of like a bronzer-ish, has a blush, has a finishing powder, has two highlighters, and then a brightening powder that puts the highlighters to shame, and a nice mirror. For some reason though, the quality of this product hasn't been my favorite, and I haven't wanted to reach for it as much as of this moment in time. Could it change in the future before my year-end videos? Totally. But as of this moment, this one's like third ranking with me. Like, I'll forget about it. It kind of gets moved around in my beauty space. And then when I pop into it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. But it's not good enough that it makes me go, oh, I want to use that today. I am totally guilty of having that new makeup smell. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that new car smell. It's like you get excited when you get in. It's like, oh, I have a new car. It's kind of like that with makeup, which is why I try to put that aside after I've done my initial reviews to remember, hey, just because you've been loving this because it's the newest thing to your collection, don't forget about these. In Orlando, I took this with me because I had a little bit of everything, and I trusted it and really liked it. But today, I made myself sit down and pull this baby back out, the Tarte Pro Glow, with a little bit of everything in it. And just using this bronzer over here, this one's kind of too red for me. This one is doing a great job of being more natural. I am wearing that today and this alone. I'm not wearing any other bronzers or anything, and I think it looks really nice. It went on smoothly. It was easy to blend, whereas I can say sometimes this one isn't as easy to blend with all of my skin serums and face regimen that I'm doing in the mornings. This one tends to get a little muddier, which I kind of forgot compared to this. This is my own personal skin journey at the moment though, so you may have a different experience. Totally get that. But this is just kind of where I'm coming from at the moment. I feel like as far as the what I'm rathering right now, this one is third, so I'm kind of like not rathering that so much, and then it comes down to these two. Keep in mind, Nichole, just because this is newer doesn't mean it's better, which is true, but they're different types of face palettes, and that's where this will get a little tricky because this has more eyeshadows in it and no highlighters or blushes in the least. And that's how these definitely differ. So even as I'm saying this right now, I'm like, I guess more comparable would be these, because these both have similar things. We're talking highlighters, we're talking blushes, and bronzer contours. So out of these two, ooh, this game just got dicier. I feel like I just added a different category, making it that different. Ooh, that just changed the game. Because for convenience in travel, I'm kind of rathering this because it's got a lot of neutrals to it. I can use a bronzer, I can use these for eyeshadows, and then move on. But if I'm going to just break this down even deeper, which I hadn't thought of before I sat down to do this, these are really the two I should be comparing. Oh, oof, I just got the vapors. I don't even know where to go. Whew. Honestly, as far as travel has gone and which one I would trust more or use more of or makes the most sense, I can't believe I'm about to say this because I said this was third ranking, but in reality, this has more of what I need and what I would like to use than this. I didn't think I was about to say that, but let's get into it. The reality of this palette is this, it says it's a contour, but I think this is extremely buildable. Right here, you can see that it goes on really smoothly, and you can blend it out, but you can also layer this sucker really, really well. And I think it does a great job. This is the blush that I have popped into a lot, and it is a great shade. I usually just have more of a fluffy brush so there's not crazy too much pigment, but I mean, look at that, beautiful. The highlighters are probably my least favorite, but I also know I can put them on my eyes for just a little pop of shimmer that even this one doesn't have. And this brightener, this brightener changed a lot of stuff for me. I mean, it's really hard to see on my paler skin right there, but it is there. And then it has a finishing powder that I've actually really enjoyed. I don't think you're gonna see this. Oh, a little bit. The finishing powder. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but this one has more variety. It has a nice mirror like I've mentioned. Whereas I feel like this one is way more limited because this is the bronzer that I would use. A lot of people complained about this bronzer, that it's just too much of a unique color for most skin tones. But jumping into this, next to this, ooh, very different. Like, it's like my third time going over it, and it's very subtle. I mean, you can build it. It's got definitely more of a sheen to it. It's got more of that satin look compared to that. Also, the highlights were never really my favorite, but the highlights in either of these palettes aren't really my favorite. Yeah, they look very similar. They're very comparable. So for me, the highlighters weren't the standout anyway. Blush, let's just compare. They have 2 blush choices at least. This one only had 1, but let's see. Ooh, what happened there? What happened? Okay. It's kind of a brighter pink than I normally like. And then this one, yeah, this one's not as, they're both more of a pinky blush, and I think I kind of prefer more of a coral blush. So, I'm surprising myself with this video, but I tend to do that in my Would You Rather videos. It always shocks me what I end up saying because I do not come into this knowing the answer. I go into it just going through the motions with you guys. I like to just talk with you, talk to you. We're girlfriends, we do that. I'm actually rathering this over this. I didn't think this was gonna go this way. Because if you think about it more in depth, you can't consider this just a face palette because it also has eyes. I've traveled with this, I really enjoy it. But knocking that one out and comparing the two that are more like each other, this is my winner. I'm flabbergasted. What do you guys think? Do you guys have these, and would you agree? Now to tackle the next extremely important process, and my favorite part of makeup, or one of my favorite parts of makeup, is highlighters. I feel like we have been given a lot of great highlighters from some of our subscription boxes. I got this one from Ipsy recently. This is the Ofra Madison Miller trio here, and I was curious how I was going to like this. And something that a lot of people got a year, 2 years ago from Boxycharm. I ended up getting the liquid, but one of you guys sent me the actual powder form, and I can't stop using it. You compliment this highlight every time I have it on. It is the Becca Champagne Pop highlighter from Becca Cosmetics. Obsessed. So when I sit down in the mornings, a true struggle for me can be, do I want to be more subtle and maybe just use like the Steve Laurent jelly highlighter that I got from Boxycharm a while back? It's very pretty. It feels like wet and creamy, but it is definitely more subtle for me. This is the shade Prosecco Please. This is the gorgeous and stunning Champagne Pop. And not a spoiler, not a teaser, it's also what I'm wearing today. But yesterday and over the weekend while I was gone, I brought with me the Ofra little trio here because it had a blush. It's very easy to travel with. I had 2 tones. This is the shade I reach for the most. I love highlighter. Not sorry, that is one of my favorite parts of the ending part of makeup. It's like the icing on the cake. It's the part I get excited for. Because these are all new to my collection this year, so I'm gonna need to know this for the end of the year. What is the best? I, today, am wearing the Becca because over the weekend I wore a ton of the Ofra and was loving it, and you guys complimented me all over the Instagram. You're like, oh my gosh, your highlighter looks great. But then when I'm wanting an easy breezy day and I just have this Steve Laurent jelly highlight on, it has its moment of just being this beautiful subtle highlight. It doesn't look like this where it's like crazy blingy, like oh my gosh, we see that highlight girl. It makes my skin look healthy, like it's just drenched, and I drink so much water. I must just do nothing all day but drink water. That's what this makes my skin look like. I can say that the jelly highlighter, and it's probably hard for you guys to see, is a lot warmer than these two, which is why I think this one does a great job with that no makeup highlight, because it just makes your skin look drenched, it looks wet, it looks pretty. but it is warmer, so it just looks more like a skin tone versus a highlight. So that's why I think I'm not reaching for that one all the time, just when I'm looking for that specific look. So I'm not really reaching for that at the current moment. I'm wanting to be blinged out. I am wanting this type of highlight, Ofra and Becca, and I feel like those in my personal collection are top tier. Those are the top 2 highlighters that I have ever tried and I love. Now it's pretty much just down to Champagne Pop, which is beautiful. It's like golden and it fits my skin tone really well. It fits a lot of skin tones really well, super important. And this is the one I've been reaching for a lot from the Ofra one. It's the Miller one on the Madison Miller one on the far right. There's no names on the back or I tell you a name. This one is more of like a pink shade, but very similar look to the Champagne Pop, which might be why I'm just like, I love you both. And if you're curious, I'll do this one too, because I have popped into this before as well. Oh, this one's definitely lighter and kind of closer to the Champagne Pop. What I do like to do with this, because this is more of a trio and I'm kind of not focusing on the blush right now, but that's why I like to travel with this because it has 2 great highlighters. I could choose one for eyes, one for face, or do both and then still have a blush, not have to bring in another piece of makeup. Super handy. But just focusing on the highlights, I do go back and forth in the morning with which one of these do I want to use. And I kind of feel like equally I've kind of gone back and forth, but what am I rathering? I am just staring at these swatches now. I think the reason I don't pop into this one too much is because this one's not my favorite shade. So I'm kind of just focusing more on these 2. These are both stunning. Nothing's getting decluttered. I need to reiterate that because I love them both. Whew. But right now, they're both new to my collection this year. Again, Boxycharm, you guys were given this a while back, like a year and a half ago. I just got it this year. This one, it was an Ipsy one. Ooh. I think they're both stunning, but I always get a little bit more like questions about what highlight I'm wearing when I have on the Becca one. And I feel like it is super universal for any look I'm doing. If I have a bold look, a warm look, a cool look, this goes with everything. I'm sure this would too, but this is the one that I feel like is just my favorite. Again, Becca Champagne Pop. Obsessed. This is a really hard category, guys. Oh, but we got through it. Now let's talk about brows. I've said before, brows are not my favorite part of makeup. They're just not. It's just that thing you got to get through. But I can say, since going darker, it's a lot easier because I feel like now I can really fill in a brow and not be worried about going too dark or being too much. Although some of you have recently told me you like when my brows looked a little darker even when my hair was a little bit lighter. So good to know. But the products that I'm reaching for, I usually marry them like multiple layers because brows, I feel like, need layers. I don't know why, but I've got some things in front of me right now that so far I can't live without. You know this one was coming. Iconic London, the Sculpt and Boost Eyebrow Cushion. I'm actually using both sides of this baby now. Not only can I use the lighter shade, but the darker one on the opposite side as well. Now I get to pop into, so it's almost like I've doubled my collection with just this one little thing, which has come in crazy handy, and I think it does a great job. But I have started using another brush that I've already had with it. This is a Moda Pro brush. I really like using that to just apply it and go. I've been really loving, again, my Brow Gal powder, and this has 3 different colors, so I can use these both to really do a great brow look with minimal effort. I love that. And there's always the classic pencils that are the staple of like my brow routine a lot of times. So what am I rathering? Oh, this is a tough call. I think as of this moment, I can say that a lot of the pencils I have in my collection are good and I do like to use them in tandem with other things, but lately I have not, the past few months, only used a pencil for my brows. Because of all the awesome things that I have been getting from subscription boxes, I've gotten more opportunities to use other stuff. So while this is a great piece staple product that I'm obviously keeping in my collection, it's not necessarily the thing I'm gravitating to the most right now though. What I've been using a lot together is the Iconic London with the Brow Gal. And this is something that I've kind of rediscovered because I was kind of like off of powders for a long time. And now that my hair is darker, I feel like it's a lot easier to not feel like when I'm pairing products that I go too bold too quick. So there have been days I've just used this, and then there's been days I've only used this. The struggle is so real. As of this moment, what am I thinking? I gotta go with my gut on this, and the reality is I have talked about this one thing for so much this year. This has to be the winner for me because I still am on the first one and I love it. It's the Iconic London Sculpt and Boost. Some of you probably already thought that's what I was going to say, but I really didn't know because again, brows aren't my favorite. But I do continually reach for this. I've not even gone to my backup yet. I'm still on the first one, and now I can delve into the other side, use up even more product. Very exciting for me. But since brows aren't my favorite and I feel like they can go really wrong really quick, this sucker hasn't steered me wrong yet. So it seemed obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me. This is my ultimate favorite right now. And if I had to pick an eyebrow piece for the year, at the end of the year, unless something else pops up, this one is going to be my winner. This one isn't new, I know that, but some of these pencils are. But rediscovering something that's great from a subscription box is another one of my favorite things to do. So I give honorable mentions all the time. You never know what's going to happen at the year-end videos. You just never know. This is going to be a really hard category, and it is because I've been dealing with a lot of skin stuff, a lot of skin issues. As a woman in my mid-30s, you guys relate to me a lot on with skincare. I also have bossy pores, so primers have become a holy grail thing for me, and I have 3 in front of me that really make my skin look good and fill my pores. So this is the No Pore Blend Primer we got from Boxycharm quite a while ago, but I still have it, but look how much is used. Like, oh my gosh, this tells you it is a loved product in my beauty space. But then I also have the e.l.f. Putty Primer and the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. I'm pretty sure that this is kind of like a dupe for this. So it's almost like, should you even be putting them together? Probably not, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm crazy like that. Okay, I don't even know what to think because I love all of these so much. And they help smooth and make my skin look really good even when I have on just that base minimal makeup, that no makeup look. Yes, these all 3 do it. But to be honest, I've been reaching more for these types, the putty types, for filling right up here. And then I have so much skincare taking over for the rest of my face. I think I'm going to set this to the side for the moment. Kind of hurt a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to keep going forward. I'm loving this Tatcha Skin a lot. And now I know this is a pricier item, and you may think that's why I'm picking it, but genuinely these both do a good job. But for my skin right here, there's something extra in this formula that just does such a great job of not breaking me out. And if I am having some dry patches due to my current menopausal journey, this helps with it a tinge better than this. Now this obviously I have a ton more product of, way more affordable, but we're talking about product, not the holding variables of. I'm honestly reaching for this a lot. I travel with this recently. I've been using this every morning. I have dipped back into this in between, but then I keep coming back to this. So that tells me there's something I'm seeing in the end result that I may not even be able to put into words every time, but I know this baby is a stunner for me. And the smaller travel size version, by the way, is less expensive. So you can try it if you're curious for a cheaper price that way. That's really exciting too. So I love this too though. This is great. I use it all the time. Still obsessed with it. It's the universal sheer coverage. I love this too. Look how much I've delved into this baby. Can you see? Oh my goodness, it's a ton. As of right now, because of where my skin is, I am reaching for this just a bit more. Oh my gosh, you guys, I did not even know what the answers to this were going to be, but I love kind of doing these videos with you, and I feel like it's been a long time since I've done one. It's a this or that in the moment. It's a moment of time. Because I've gone back and watched some of my older ones and being like, oh, that's so funny that I loved that one product at that moment, because now I forgot about this or I've decluttered it and I only use this. It's just a moment in time thing, and it's all just for fun, so don't take it too personally if I said that the product that I wasn't rathering at the moment is your favorite, because believe me, these are all staying in my collection. None of this is going anywhere. These are all the things this is the top tier stuff right now in my collection that I'm loving. Do you guys do this though? Am I the only crazy person that when I sit down in my beauty space and I see things that I'm like, oh, do I want to use this today? Or am I going to go this? Because then it's very different. This is like, boom, we're doing makeup. Whereas the jelly highlighter is so neutral, you're like, ooh, that's a different makeup look. That's a no makeup look. Ofra, we're going glam. We're gonna look good. We're gonna have the highlight popping. You know what I mean? But these could technically be interchangeable products. So it's very interesting to see what I'm gravitating to and to really dissect why. I'm still gravitating to this a lot. I think it's because it has that new makeup smell. I'm curious how I'll feel by the year end. Oof. But these, I'm still surprised that this beat out this one just because it makes more sense logically. It's a logic thing, but sometimes makeup's not logical. It's emotional. It's feelings. You get me, right? You get me? Guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you happen to be new to my crazy little channel, hi new friends. I hope you take a quick moment to hit that subscribe button down below to see all of the fun, loud, weird, unique videos like this series I do every week on my channel. Bye friends!